Okay, so we move to week 5 now. So congratulations to everyone. So we halfway done, and from our class, so far so good. We just have one person drop halfway during the class, and this is quite good. Like the drop rate during the class. So like previous class, we have quite a number of people drop during like after the quiz number 3, the Twitter assignment. So like a lot of people like 20% or 30% the class will drop, and this time I just want uh, so far so good with that one. Assignment 4. Last week we talked about the animation and gesture, right? And then we talk about excuse me, and we talk about the custom transition between the view controller, and then we use the animation and gesture to for during the lab. During the lab, we build the animation app, right? So we have we do the animation with the smiley, and then had a gesture. So you learn how to apply like multiple gesture, how to create manually to create the gesture and apply the gesture onto the item. And remember, for the image by default is not interactive, so you need to enable like interactive for the images. And you learn how to apply multiple gesture simultaneously on the same item. Right? I mean, when you can zoom in, zoom out the image, and also rotate the image at the same time, right? And then we didn't do anything on the lab for the custom, but the custom transition. So actually, that one is well from week 5. You see here, you still stay here, a view controller transition. So I this time around, so I changed the syllabus a little bit. So the view controller transition will be moved to week 4, as you learned last week, and together with that, let me open this one. So you get some to show you, you get some idea what we are going to spend, how we are going to spend the second half of the class. So we are at week 5 right now. So this week, so this is what I talked before, but then starting from this class, so we change a little bit. So for the custom transition, we already put in to week 4, and then this week we are going to talk about like the custom view and the persistent. Persistent is before it was until week 7. So persistent is something about the database, how you save, how you load the database, the data. Before it was boot until week 7, so a lot of people find that one not useful anymore. At that moment, you only decide what kind of database you use for your final project. So probably it's like not a good timing for the persistent stuff. So I put in that one to week 5. So this week we learn how to build a custom view and zip and nip and then the persistent database. Then after this week we have a kind of idea which one we should use for your final project. Okay. And with SIG we talk about the device framework. So that's one I like. How do you use the hardware of your device? Like the camera, the GPS, uh, the microphone, or some kind of the sensor inside the phones. How do we use the data from the device framework? And with 7 will be about the multi-threading, and also we have the interview prep session. So we have 2 interview prep session. The first one will be on with this week lab. So for this session, Holly will be the one to conduct the session. So as you already know that in this class we also target for the people so to find a job after the class, right? So in this interview prep session, we will try to cover some of the topic that the data structure and also the algorithm that's like frequently asked during the job interview. So it could be about like some kind of basic data structure like arrays, string, linked split, or the tree, and something about the bit manipulation. How do you work with bit, 1 and 0, and on and off, some of the things. Yeah, so it will be covered though inside to the interview prep session. Okay. And then on week A will be a little bit more fun. So we learn how to build a Flappy Bird. So that's the only game we build in this class. Okay, so go back. Okay, and then which we want to show you which one on the assignment 4. So this is one of the submission, one of the very few submission for assignment 4. So you see this one. So at assignment 3 you should have something like this, right? Just only the timeline, but then we have the gesture when you swipe from the edge, and then we have the one we call the hamburger menu, right? And we have this one, and we click on this one, it can change the thing like this one is the profile page for the user. And there's some other stuff as well. I know they mentioned, yeah, right. So basically that's some additional feature for the Twitter app, and you may find this one also interesting when you build the app. So a lot of apps using like this kind of like the hamburger menu, right? Even like the Facebook one also had the hamburger menu. It's had on both sides, on the left and on the right as well, right? In this case, we don't have anything on the right. Okay. Okay. So, any question or any comment on the assignment 4? That's how it look like. Later, if you want to take a look on that one, you go back and see how it's implemented. So we have the instruction how to build those things. And then remember everyone, so this week milestone, if you go to with file here and then you go to group, you have the submit button here, right? And then within your group you just pick one, only one, submit this one. You don't need to like 3 of you submit the same thing, right? And what do you need to submit this week? The user story. You need to finish your user story, and you need to have your survey sent out, and then have some response on check is what is your survey result, how people respond on your survey, like people like your idea or people like don't think that idea is useful for them, something like that, right? And then we also need to have the wireframe, right? So the wireframe is just either you can use some link that I share last week, or you can use like pen and paper, whatever you find this one like convenient for you. Okay. Alright, so this week we're gonna talk about the custom view and the persistent. So let's go back to this one. Okay, so two topics to be covered in this with custom view and persistent. So I'll talk a little bit about the custom view first. Why do you want a custom view? Why a view? Like when you create a view on your storyboard, it's just a rectangular, right? Basically, when you drag in a view, it's just a rectangular, and then within that one, you can drag in like the label or the button or the text field, something like that. But then, what if like you want to do some drawing? Like you want to customize your thing, and you want to do some drawing, then how do you do that drawing? In this one, we will learn a little bit on the core graphic to do the drawing. So on this one is basically to do a drawing. So it has something is called the context. Later we go through the code and we see how it works. So at first you get the context. So context is something that cover everything about the drawing inside that one, and we set within that context we say, hey, I want to set my pencil color like to be black, and then after I draw something, I want the fill color to be blue or something. So meaning we can define the color, and then we can define the drawing path. So to be able to draw this one, so it's I don't know if anyone familiar with like the SVG, the scale vector graphic. This one, when we want to draw something like we move the pen to one point, and then we start from the point. we have some comments like we start from that point and we move to another point. We want to draw a line from this point to this point, or we want to draw a circle from this point with the radius of what kind of radius. So we have those kind of comments to do the drawing. Later we do some demo and we take a look at that one. So here's some of the code to do the drawing. So let's go to let's open a new file and then no. Create a new project. Where is it? New. And then we create a new project. Okay, again a single view project, and then we say view demo. Where should I put this one? View demo practice. Okay, create. Okay, what do we have now? An empty view controller, right? And then this is on the main storyboard, so nothing. Basically nothing. So let me change this one to files, and then okay. For example, now I want to manually draw a progress bar. What is the progress bar? So meaning like, for example, you download something, and like if you download to 50%, you move the progress bar to 50%, and you keep download. You update the percentage like to 60%, 70%, something like 100%, something like that, right? So let's see how we can we build it. So I create a new file. I say this one it will be the subclass of the UI view because we want a custom view, and we say this one is the type progress bar, right? And I put it inside here. Okay, we have a progress bar, and this is a UI view here. Okay, so by default it have some code for you. Read on this one. Only override draw if you perform a custom drawing. So now we want to do some custom drawing, right? So we will override the function. So we say override function draw, and it will be the border of this one, the bounds of this one will be a rectangular. So within this one we have some drawing code there, and you need to notice about this one. It say even an empty implementation, like just like this, just an empty. So right now I didn't put anything inside this draw function. So it says even this one already affect to the performance during animation. So this one is very expensive function. So only when you really need to do some drawing, then you use this one, because it may affect to the overall app performance. Right? But in this case, we want to use. So let's see how. Okay, so let me go back to this view controller, and we say before we have the progress bar here, right? So we say bar progress bar. Type the progress. So I create a new view with the type of the progress bar, and then I draw that progress bar on my view. So say let's go progress bar, and then it had a frame here. So meaning I want to create a progress bar within this rectangular. So the frame is say that the type CG rect. So I want a rectangular here. So the rectangular we have the X and Y, meaning the location where you want to draw that rectangular, and then the width and height. So X I say like 10 pixels from the left, and Y I say one like 50 pixels from the top. Width 35. That's one. I want to get the okay. So what this is the width of the view, meaning the width of your screen, right? And because this one is in, I convert this one to in. Minus this one to 20. Why? I want to like that's one at the center of the view. On the left border I have like 10 pixels, on the right so I have another 10 pixels, so total width minus 20. And I want this one to the height is like 100 pixels. Okay, and then How to add this one on the view? We have something like view dot as a view, right? And I add the progress bar. Okay, change this one to 5. Let's say I'm missing this. Okay, and then let's run and see. What do you expect to see? Okay, so a black rectangular. So why is black? So by default it's black. If we didn't set anything, so it will be black. So here is just say, hey, I want a progress bar. The border of the bounds of that progress bar is like this rectangular. So it starts from X is 10 and Y is 50, and then the width is like the whole width of your screen minus 20. So we have 10 pixels here and 10 pixels here, and the height is 100. We want to change this one to background color. So I want to change the background color. So I set the UI color dot. Yeah. Okay, let's change it to green. Okay, so now we have green rectangular. So that's not what we want, right? We need a progress bar here. So okay, so here the code to draw the thing. So within this progress bar we want to do some custom drawing here. So let's go back to this one and see. So we had drawing code here. Let me quickly copy this one. I explain the code. Okay, so what do we have here? We get the context. So like as I said earlier, right, we get the context for you to do the drawing. So it will be the type of UI graphic get current context, and then within this one we set the stroke color, meaning the color of the like your band, what color you want. So I set the band is the red one, the fill color. Later, if you want to draw something, for example, you draw a circle or you want draw a rectangular, so you can fill. When I draw a line, so nothing to fill, right? When I draw a line, so it just use the stroke color. So leave it for now, and then how to draw a line. So this is some command you want to use. So first we say, hey, I want to start drawing, and then I move to this location. And I say, hey, I want to move to this location. So what is the location? So X is 0 and Y 10. So I want to, and now you need to know that, hey, everything here is within this blue this green rectangular, this green box. So I say X is 0, Y 10, so it count from here. Everything now will be count from here. So it's within this green rectangular. So I move it to here, and then I draw a line to this point. Right. So this is basically I want to draw the line from this edge to this edge. Right. And then I say, after I add the command, I say, hey, draw it. Now we run it again. Okay, so now we see a red line. We draw a red line there. Okay, now I add another variable. I call it progress CG float, and by default I set it to 0, and then we have something like this. When we update the progress, we want to update this view. So meaning, for example, I say, hey, my progress, when the progress is like 5%, it should roger a little bit, and then up to 10% it will be bigger, something like that. So we go back to here. We want to update the progress, right? So let's say we add another variable, progress here, CG for float. Okay, 0 as well. Okay, here we want to how do we draw that one? So let me add a timer dot schedule. Okay, I want like every just to simulate the progress. So like every like, point 2 second. The timer here I say every 0.2 second. I want to, so here I add a function on timer sender, which is the timer, and here we have the selector. So remember the syntax of the selector. Yeah, pause sign and then selector, right? And it should be what, view controller dot on timer. Okay, and then new and then repeat through. Yeah, so what I want is like every 0.2 second if you execute this code. So like what I want to do here is I want to update the progress like 5%, 0.05, 5%, and then if progress like it larger than 1, so something like that. If that's one is bigger than 1, so I stop, I don't do anymore. So I say sender validate. Okay, so I stop the timer. So here just bring out the progress and see. Else I just update the progress bar dot progress. I didn't say that's one, so that's why you cannot refer to it. So progress equal to like progress. Okay, understand, right? Set a timer here every 0.2 seconds. If you update the progress, so meaning every 0.2 seconds the progress will be increased by 5%. So let me try to run this one to see first if it actually print out. Okay, so you see here it's printing out the number here every 0.2 seconds. So if it's over 1, so meaning we finished, so it will stop, right? And what we want now is this one. This red line, it will start from 0 and it keep increasing, the length keep increasing up to 100%, right? So we go back to this one. So here you see what did we do here? We assign the progress to this progress by dot progress, like to this property. We assign the current progress to this property. So if we go back to this one, we have the this set. So remember this one, right? So if we had this set and then meaning after this one is this property assign some value, we need to do something, and what we want to do is we want to draw again, and here why I multiply by 1 here, it should be multiplied by progress, right? Like if progress is like 0, so the length is 0. If it's 0.5, then the length is 50%, something like that, right? And how do we want this one? We going to draw again. On this one. Okay, so it has something called layout subview. Okay, so this function is just basically it will refresh the view for you. So this actually will call this one if you redraw the thing. So let me run this one and see. Okay, so it's not layout subview. Let me check this one. What does it say? Is it layout subview? There are few functions for this to refresh the layout. Layout. So not running. What would be the one? Let me check on this. That's one is the progress view and or set display. It's not the layout thing. The layout thing, I'll talk about that one later. Just change this one to the set needs or set needs to set display. Okay, so now you see our power line it starts moving, right? So that's why we do the manual draw. We want draw some progress bar. So it's the ugly one, but for example, if you want to do the progress bar, we can make one thicker, like uh, 5 pixels or something, and make it moving from 0 to 100%. So here what we have is the set need display. It's made it to refresh the view for you. The one I used earlier, layout if needed, and then the layout subview. That's one we use. We'll use that one when we want to do the animation for the constraint. For example, in some case you want to animate when you use the auto layout, right? It will be it will have the constraint, and we will, for example, if you want to animate some constraint, like you want to animate the height of some image or something, and after you put that one into the UI view that animate, you need to call the layout if needed on the layout subview. So it will refresh the layout for you. If you don't call that one, you don't see anything. Right? For the constraint, if you want to animate the constraint, if you want to go back and check like last lab we have the lab with the UI view that animate, but we didn't do any constraint during that time. But if you want to check, you do the animation and then you want to animate the constraint. If you don't use the set if needed or the layout if needed and the layout subview, then you will not see any animation. Okay. In this case, we need to use the set need display. I remember the wrong one before. Okay. Uh, the line is not really cool. So what if we want to something like look better? So for example, this one I say I want to crop a pie like this. So you remember when you download some app from App Store, for example, it will have like some circle like this one, and it will have the it block the icon, and then it start to moving that circle and had like a pie to fulfill that circle. And then, here we try to simulate something similar. So again, we want to draw another path, and we move to this location, and here I say I want to draw a pie. So we have the function arcs here. So we want to draw the one at the center here, the radius 40, start angle, and then the end angle. So we need to convert this progress into like the angle we want to draw. So 360 degree will be equivalent to 100%. Then we need to do some math, and then it will convert that one to like 5% corresponding to how many percent, something like that. And then here to try to see what we have. Okay, right. So if you want to do some other thing like that one, you can do the drawing, do the manual drawing. And again, remember the drawing function is it's cool, but it's quite expensive procedure. So it has a lot of resource per machine. So just when you really want to do some uh, custom drawing, then you do that one. Okay. I go back to this one. What else? What else we want to do? Let me move all the stuff in one. Add a button here. Okay, so let's say this one. Set play function. UI button. Okay. Okay, I just want to move those stuff inside this, and then we say play here, or when I want to do it again, I will say like this one, like I reset everything. I want to run this again. So first I need to remove this one. Remove from, how do you remove? So we have one function called remove from super view, right? Remove from, yeah, so it will be removed from super view. The super view now is the view. So earlier you remember we add this one into the view, and if we want to remove it, so we say hey progress bar, remove yourself from the super view, and I set this one back to 0, and then I play. So like just a reset function. So at beginning it running like this, and then if I do it again, so it remove everything and run it again. Okay, never mind. And we have that one. Let's try something else. Okay, now that's one way to create the custom view, and now we do another one. So say I create. So all the time so far, so all the time we just use this one, right? When we create a new file, it's just use the CocoaBot file, and then if you just run down, it has something else. Let's stop it here, the user interface. So we can create a storyboard. So by default, you only have like the main storyboard and then the launch screen storyboard. And then here, like if you want some other like storyboard, the view or the launch screen, so it's empty. I don't know why I say empty. Okay, so just create a view. So I want to create a view here. So let's name it my first zip. So what is zip? Okay, so I've created a view, and then I name it my first zip, and you see the extension of this one is say what dot zip. The extension of this file is say dot zip, right? And then it has something here. We had the file owner, we had the first responder, and then what is the zip here? It's basically the view is look like similar to your whole view, right? But then in this one, like I say smaller, and the size of this view I can change. So like I say, hey, made it free form. I made it like smaller like this. Okay, so and if I take a look at this one, so we right click on let you right click on this zip file, and then we open it, and then we say shortcode. So what it is, if I look at the shortcode of this zip file, so what is it? An XML file, right? And then you look at this XML file, take a look at it. So you see here, it say within this one we have blah blah blah. Right now because we didn't set the file owner, so we don't see it here. But you see some other thing here, like the auto layout, yes, and we have something yes and no here. So because this one is inherited from Objective-C before, so it still say yes and no. It's not true or false. In Swift it say true or false, but in Objective-C before it was yes and no. Okay. And we take a look on the object here. What do we have here? A view, right? So now we just have a view within this list of objects. Let me switch back to the interface builder. Like I say I want to add another label. Okay, I just add a label here, and then let me switch back to the shortcode again. And now if you take a look on the object, we see we have two objects right now. So we have one view and we have one label here, right? Okay, so what do we want to do with that? We just name it like my first zip, right? We didn't do any other stuff, and we want, now I want to, for example, I want to draw the thing from this view on my view controller, right? So let nib, what is nib? UI. So we had something like this, UI nib, and then from nib and nib. Okay, so what is nib? Nib is basically the binary version of this zip file. So I want to clone this zip file, and I change it to the binary version, and then now I want to draw this zip onto my view controller. Then how do we want to do that? Okay, then I say let object. I want to get the object within this nib. Equal to nib dot instantiate with owner, and then new, and then put option. Option is news as well. Let's try to see what inside the object. For in just print let's do it first, and then I explain why you want to create the zip and nib, the thing like that. Okay, so we run again. This one still running safe. I should display this, disable this one. I don't want it to run. Okay, but take a look on this. So when we bring the object inside this nib, what do we have here? The first one is a UI view, right? And the second one is a UI label, right? Is it what we just draw in within that zip file? So remember before, right? We have this with pack to the interface builder. So we have where is it? Okay. So we have one view here and one label here, and when it print out, so we have the first item is the view and the second item is the label. Let me and from there, so for example, now I want to let my label is like the object. I know the object number one will be my label, right? And I got this one to UI label, and then from view I can add sub view, and then I add my label, something like that. But then we go back to this one. So the label here, I change the name, change the label to something like this, and then I run. Okay, so it's up there. Let me print it out. Okay, so my label dot frame cg rep, and then let me go to this as 10 200 width, say 200, and then 50. Is it the typo? Yeah. Okay, never mind. So I just get the label from that zip file and I print it here. So meaning I can access to the object within that zip file. In this case, we have two objects, right? One view and one label, and I get one of the item and to add it onto my view. But then that's not a good practice. The good practice is that you should have and never do something like this. All the time we should only have one container view. So within that container view, whatever you want to put there, it should be okay. But meaning it's only within that zip file, it should have only one child. And what I want to do is I move this hello script stuff inside this view. Okay, so now this one is say it stay inside the view. I don't want, so it's a good practice. So the whole thing, the bigger thing here is you call this one the container view. Right, and then you put whatever you want to put inside, so you put it here. Okay, so why do we want to do this one? So like for example, remember when you do the Twitter, you remember you create the Twitter cell. So what does it have there? It has some like the avatar image here, the Twitter name there, the day and time there, and then the container, the thread there, right? And you want to use that Twitter cell a lot of places, so many places, right? So you want to use that one on the timeline. You want to use that one when you review the content of that tweet. You want to display that again. So we create that one, and then later by doing this, so you just can get that one and display wherever you want, right? So you just do say, hey, say, let me be this one, and you instantiate that one. So for now you should only have one item, and then you just grab the item to display to add that one on the subfield wherever you want. Right, so let me demo this one. So for now, say, remember one thing here, the file owner, we didn't set anything on this file owner. And if you want to do some code, some logic, some code on this one, how do you want to set the display? How do you load the data, and how you share the data there, and then where do you set that one? So we need to have some code, some script file to have the code, right? So I create a new file. Let me create a new file. So it says what does of course what does, and next I name this one my first zip, and then this the subclass of the UI view, and then we create this one view demo. Okay, so now we have one zip file and one script file, right? And now it's time for us to do this one. So you see here we have the file owner. So you click on the file owner, and here this class you say, hey, I want this file, the one I just created, to be the owner of this zip. Like the same idea with when you create this view controller, right? This view controller, and then you say this view controller is either the class is the class view controller class, this one, either code that related to this view controller, right? Same idea. So now we have the zip file here, so meaning the view here, and we have the script file here. So it's called like the file owner. So when we have something like this, what we want to do is we can create one. So we have this one. So I grab this view and I say I can create the outlet. So I have the container view. I want the label. Label, say like my label, right? So we have now we have one like this one, the zip file, and then we have the script file. Script file is like the file that's holding the owner of this zip file. Okay, so when we have something like this, remove this one. And then go back to the view controller. So now we have the owner file. So and of course we only have one object, right? So we can remove out stuff. Let me remove this one. And within this script file, so what do we have here? Nothing here. How do we so what we want is something like this. So let's comment out this one. What we want is like let view go to my first zip something, and then we want something like this, right? And then we say view dot add subview view one, right? That's what we want. But for now, this one is my first zip. It doesn't have any initializer here. So how do we know which one is the initializer for the view? Right, so you comment and click on this one. You see if it says this is the method we want to implement. So two methods here. So the first one is the init with frame, and the second one is init with the coder. So just copy this one and move to my first view. Okay, so the first one I just remove the complete. It will complete. Okay, so it will complain. This one I say this one is insert override. This one insert required. Okay, just follow the thing like that. Okay, what do we want to do here? Super dot init frame and frame. So remember, it's similar to you when you had something like this one. Override the function view did low and then you call the super and whatever the function name. So similarly, we do it here. We have super.init and the thing. And then same thing here. We call super.init with the coder, and then this one we put in a decoder. Okay. And after initialize, we need to do something right. So I add a new function here called like init subview. Okay, so within this init subview, so now I want to get, now I move those stuff from here into this file. So by doing that way, it makes your code look cleaner, right? It separate the view and then the view controller. So here the same thing, we have the nib. We need to instantiate the nib. We get the nib, the binary version of the zip file, and then we instantiate that one. Like we don't want to print this one anymore, just remove it. Okay, so now we have the nib. Again, we instantiate. We create a new UI nib with the name first nib, my first zip, and then I get the list of objects here. And then with owner now, you know that we have the owner. It's not before we didn't set any owner, right? But now we have the owner. And then what we want to do is like to say, so now our object is should have only one item, right? So that's one is the container view. So I say let view, let container view object, and I get the first one, and I got this one to the UI view, and then view dot, no, I say add subview container view. Okay, and then when I init, I will add that one. So I say init subview, same thing here, init subview. Okay, so now when we go back here, we have something like this view if my first zip, and I need a frame. So let's go here and copy the frame. Okay. So the frame, put the frame there, and I need the width. So view dot screen, no dot frame width. Let me go to this one and let me add some color for it to easy to see. Background color. Okay. No, that's one. The view. So set the background color for this. Right. So now you see we add a view. We have the zip file here, and we add a view. So this is just a simple view, but if like later you want to do like the Twitter cell, for example. So we have the image here, we have the thing here, the content here, and then wherever you want to put the other thing, so you can manually create that one and you add. So for example, I can add another one. So say let me copy this one. I add another one. I move this one down to 250 and change it to bar. Right. So now I can create two. So it's not only within this view controller. For example, I have multiple view controller. I want to use this view. I want to use this custom view. And just wherever I want, I just say, hey, create this one, instantiate this one from the zip file, and then just edit it. Right. That's how we create the custom view. Okay, so one last thing for the custom view. So that's why the view. What if we want to create a view controller, right? So just now I just want a zip file, but that's a view, right? It's just a view. What if we want to create a new view controller? So I create a new. So if you notice here, anyone wonder why this one is disabled? When this one is enabled, I cannot check this one. Right. But if like see, if I change this one to the subclass of the UI view controller, so this one will be enabled. Right, so let's say I name this one to be second zip, too long, so second view controller, something like that. And then I say, hey, I want to create a zip file. So what do I say here? Create a zip file with the same name. So after this one, I will have two files, second view controller dot swift, and then second view controller dot zip. Right, I will have two files. And why only I enable this one? I change this one to the subclass of the UI view controller is have this one. So when we have the view controller, it will have the code for the view controller lifecycle for you. Why the view controller lifecycle? Remember the thing like view will appear, view disappear, view will disappear. That's one is the life cycle of your view controller. Only the view controller have life cycle. So when you create the view controller and you say this one is, it will automatically add the code for the view controller life cycle for you, right? So I create here second view controller dot script, and it create for me another one is say a second view controller dot zip as well. So now it's already created like that, so I don't need to manually create a file owner. If I check this one, it should be correct one. So I check the file owner here. I say, hey, the file owner, this one is the second view controller, right? Why do I want to do this? Okay, now so later in your project, what if like multiple people working on the same storyboard? What will happen? Conflict, right? Later you push code, you only have one storyboard, assuming you only have one. Actually later I show you how to create a multiple storyboard. Each person can work on one, but like if you all working on one storyboard, like Javon, you working on login screen, you have the login screen here, and you have the segue, it move to the timeline view controller, and then Caroline, you work on the view controller, and then Javon, you touch on this one, and Caroline, you touch on this one, and then it's only one file, right? Later you push the code, conflict. You push that one and you merge your code together, it's conflict, right? And then one of the way to do that one is, hey, Javon, you create a new zip file. This one is like your login screen, whatever you want to do here. You don't mess up with other guy. And later you say, hey, I want to call this view controller, so then you just call that view controller. Right, so let me show this. Let's change this a little bit again. Change the background color to something else, and then add a function. Add a button. So this one I say back button. Right, same thing, right? Because we have the file owner for this, so when you click on these two circles, so it will move to this file. And see, when I say create the view controller life cycle for you, it will automatically create all the code for you. The view this low, and then basically the one that you use the most, the view this low. But in some other case, we want to use something else like view will appear, and then view disappear, something like that. Okay, I write the code for this one. I say action and don't mess up with that. UI button and on tab. What I want to do is just dismiss true and new. Did I do something new? Oh yeah, yes. Then from our view controller, how do I call the second view controller with a zip file? Later, another button, and another button here, and say go to second. Too bad I should put in like randomly. Never mind. Okay, let's add a action for this one and on row. Okay, now how do we want to move to the second view controller? How do we want to do that? Let second view controller is second view controller. Right, we have this, and then nickname. What is the nickname? Second view controller, and then the bundle should all the time the bundle new should put it new. Okay, we save this one and first view controller. This. Okay. And then I say present. Present view controller animated present this second view controller. No, not this second view controller animated. Yeah, true, and then condition not this. Which one? Second view. Cái nào? View controller file. What is the error? Oh, true and new. Okay, so now we have like this button. I say go to view controller, right? So it will display the second view controller. So you see, that's one I didn't mess up with the storyboard. So I just leave the storyboard there. Whoever want to work on that one, just work on that one. I won't mess up with you. I won't like to change something on your file and later it can create some conflict. When you work on the project, a smaller project like this one, still okay. But then if you want big project, we have like 20 or something screens, then people don't want to work on the storyboard. This is more, I see prefer to create the zip file like this one, and then whatever you want to do here is it also have one view like this one. Same thing you can do the auto layout everything on this one, and you had the file owner for this, so just similar to what we did before, and then we just work on this one, right? But in this case, like what happened if before you had something called prepare for segue, right? But in this case you don't have the segue stuff. Right? We didn't create any segue from one view controller to a second view controller, but here this is the moment where you want to do whatever you want. Normally when you want to do prepare for segue, you set up some stuff and then you pass some data from first view controller to second view controller. In this case, whatever you want to do is just put it here. So for example, you can do the same thing, second view controller dot blah blah. For example, I create some right, I create some variable here and here. I can also access to that one, right? Something like that. You don't need to go to prepare for segue, because in this case you don't have the segue, right? So that's how you create the custom view and also the custom view controller. That's one, and you can show the problem of the thing that it conflict together, right? And then in the next lab we going to practice on this one, and you learn more on this. Okay, so let's take a short break now.